Adam Warden, 2nd December 2013, student number WAR12175989. Roles. Teacher and educator. Teacher and educator needs to allow the students to learn the things the teacher is talking about so that it actually sticks in their brain instead of just regurgitating what the teacher says or writes. For example, if a student's in a lesson and the teacher puts up information on the board, the student shouldn't just write down what they what the teacher has put on the board, because they then are just copying it into their books and then they'll just copy it into their assignments. This means that they won't be learning anything, they'll just be regurgitating what the teacher has already put. So they won't actually learn anything, they're just copying what the teacher has put, really. This won't improve their knowledge, that just means that they can read and write, really. In a sporting example, is when a coach is taking a training session for his team of rugby players, and in the last game they show very poor passing. So this tells the team. So the coach then tells the team what the fault was, and he asks them to come up with a drill for the next training session so they can improve throughout the team. Then if they do so, they will be learning what specific drills will help specific techniques and skills within the sport. This means that they'll be improving in and outside official training sessions. Also, this will help because they have chosen as a group to do this particular warm up or drill or whatever it may be. So therefore, they won't be putting. There will be less people. Well, there will be no people putting no effort in. There will be high levels of enthusiasm and precipitation. Um, in non-elite and elite aspects of sport, the educator or teacher will be more important for non-elite athletes because they don't have a great knowledge of a specific sport, so they will need a teacher or an educator to give them the correct knowledge to perform well in their sport. Whereas in elite athletes, they will already be have greater knowledge of the sport, and they all know what they have to do, what they're on about, because they've been doing it for a long time, and they are very good at this specific skill set. A teacher, an educator, can be more important in other sports, different sports. Um, for something technical like dance, so you've got all the different dance moves, or trampoline where you've got a set routine and set like uh, skills you have to perform, like flips and specific like structures you have to shapes you have to do with it. You need to be taught very well and into a lot of detail, so you get all of these different skills right, because it's hard to remember all of them. Whereas if it's something like weightlifting, there's a much less number of things you have to learn because it's a simple skilled sport. So it's just lifting a weight as heavy as you can, really. Whereas dancing, there'll be different moves to different routines. There'll be different music to different routines. So it's really hard to remember all of it. A teacher and educator is important for groups that have disabilities because they may be blind, or they may have learning disabilities. If they've got learning disabilities, then they will struggle to grasp certain sports, even if they're very simple. They may need more time to adapt and understand the different rules and different techniques and stuff. So a teacher and educator would be much more needed for them rather than people that have been doing it all their life, or quicker to adapt to different skill sets. Manager and organizer. To be a good manager, you need a lot of good attributes such as calm, understanding, patient, disciplined, etc. An example of this is at the start of a season, a manager will pick a squad of first team players, then train them pre-season, and he will see what their strengths and weaknesses are. And then, just before the season will start, he will organise what tactics he is going to play for each game throughout the season and what formations. And before the season starts, he will choose his starting 11, like his strongest squad, his strongest starting 11. This is strongly linked with the elite athletes because elite athletes have to compete for their place. So it's very manager needs to be very organised, and he needs to analyse each player to see what their strengths and weaknesses are, and if they're better than the next person that plays in their position. With non-elite athletes, this is a lot different because they have a squad of players, and they will have to see what suits the team and the best formation with the players they've got. He needs to organise the team so that they are playing towards their strengths first, and then he will need to concentrate how to stop the other team from impacting on the game, like scoring or whatever sport they are. This role is important. This is because they will be showing the team that they are disciplined and organised. This also means that they will be if they play the right formations at the right time, then they will impact the team's progress throughout the season and hopefully to get them to win. In different sports, with individual sports like tennis, there isn't really a need for a manager, really, because there may be someone that organises their matches, but really they're reliant on their trainer. The trainer is the person that obviously does practice with them and makes sure that they're all they're well trained, and they do weekly training sessions so that their skill sets keeps improving, and they'll be the person that works with them throughout, like their strengths and weaknesses between each game. Whereas in a team, it's much more needed because there's obviously formations, there's a picking of the players. The people that pick the players are much. The manager is needed for that because there may be someone that's good, but there's someone that's better, and the person that's better will be in the team. Trainer. This is the person that works with the team in a technical sense and improves their game. He can work with the whole group at one time, but he can also split the team up so that they can work in their positional groups. This is so that he is teaching them what he is teaching them is relevant to their position. For example, if a football trainer would split strikers, midfielders, defenders, and goalkeepers up, so that they do drills that are relevant to their positions. There would be no point in a goalkeeper doing, I don't know, free kick training or manipulating the offside trap. This would be drills for strikers or wingers. The trainer plays a much bigger part in the development of younger non-elite athletes rather than adult elite. This is because there is a lot to be learnt by the young non-elite players. They will even need to be taught the most basic skills like how to pass properly, the right techniques for passing or something like that. Whereas the adult non-elite will know all the skill sets, so they will just need to be taught how to perfect them. This is also a responsibility of the trainer or a role of the trainer. Whereas elite players know what the basic skills and the more advanced skills, and they're good at them. This is because they're professionals in their sport, so they just need to be sort of keep doing them. So this is why they have training and practices, and this is why lots of trainers are employed by the big clubs, big professional elite clubs. They may be shown different ways, different techniques, but they will have their own techniques. So it is more a trainer is more important for non-elite younger athletes, really. Um, Although a trainer is very important for team sports, but they'll with a team they'll have a number of um, trainers so that they have one split with a smaller group rather than just one with a larger group. But in an individual sports, the the trainers are much more important for the progress of the player and the improvement of the player. This is due to the fact that they will show them the right techniques, the right when to play the shot, when to play different shots, where to run, when to hit, just everything really. But yeah, it's much more important for individual sports such as tennis or badminton for a trainer. Role models. This is someone that sticks out to the other players when things aren't going to plan. They are the ones that dig their feet in and will not be beaten. This is important for a coach because they need to inspire the team when they are down or losing. They need to be able to motivate the team when they're losing or behind. Um, and performing badly, they need to be the ignition that sparks the increase of arousal and performance. An example of this is if a rugby team are 30-0 down at half time, he needs to give a motivational speech at half time, so that he raises arousal and self belief and confidence in the team, and try and get them pumped up so they are ready to claw back and win the game. I don't believe there is any difference in non-elite and elite athletes with role models. Everyone needs a role model, but every team, whether it's or individual, any elite or non-elite athletes need someone there to rely on and to look at and to refocus them and to get them arousal back up. Yeah. Everyone knows if the team sports usually have a half time or in quarters, so the coach actually gets to talk to the players to give them motivational speeches or tell them what they're doing right and wrong and what they can improve on to get them to win. But individual sports such as tennis or badminton or something, the coach won't necessarily be able to talk to the player, so he can't tell them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, or give them sort of motivational talk. So really, individual um, athletes need to be quite headstrong, and so they need to motivate themselves. But obviously, they can talk to them before the game and get them pumped up and raise arousal before the game. Responsibilities, professional behaviour. Coaching can now be considered professions, so there is a code of practice to follow throughout a coaching session. Governing bodies make the rules and all the coaches must follow them. The different rules differ from age to age. An example of this is that there are child protection laws that are very strict and that say that you shouldn't be on your own with an individual, that there should always be another person with you. This is so that someone else can see that you are being professional. This is just to protect yourself, really, so no accusations can be thrown around. Also, as a coach, you should always behave appropriately with your students. You should be in correct kit, switched on, and ensure that they say and do the correct things and be professional, obviously. With younger groups, you should be acting like a professional throughout the whole session. But as teams get older, the banter starts to creep in, and it's fine to have a laugh and have sort of a rapport with your team, but you need to know your limit, and when enough's enough, you're there to improve their performance. With younger years, you need to be much more disciplined so that they know not to misbehave. This is massively important because everyone playing sport has the right to feel comfortable whilst being coached. elite athletes tend to be, you need to have a professional behavior